Welcome to the SimHERA tutorial on how to perform behavioral audiometry using SimHBA in SimHERA. What we're going to do is demonstrate a simple behavioral protocol for testing the left ear, and then a later video we'll use the same patient to showcase masking. Okay, so let's get started. We have this patient already selected here. You can see over here on the right, unilateral loss, and we're going to be first showcasing testing how we can do behavioral audiometry for the left ear, which will be of typical hearing status. There are different approaches to this. In different clinics, we'll do things slightly differently. I'm going to first show you what is recommended through the ASHA guidelines, which is called an ascending approach to find the initial thresholds, and then I will showcase a descending approach. There is a tab where you can set all the protocols, and you can check out the tutorial on how to set protocols. We're going to bypass the tympanometry and acoustic reflexes for this demonstration, and here we have the behavioral protocols. The criteria are set here on the right, and as I mentioned, I'll be showcasing the ascending approach to start with. So that's a starting intensity of minus 10 dB below what you'd expect that threshold to be. So we're just going to be showcasing how you test one of the conditions here, in this case the left ear, air conduction 1000 Hertz. So let's move on to that. Click on the behavioral tab. We have our patient there. We need to set them up. We'll use TDH earphones. You can use inserts here if you like. And then we click on in session. The next thing to do is actually to set the stimulus. We're going to be presenting in the left ear. Right now it's showing that we'll be presenting in the right ear. So just change one of the stimulus parameters. Note it's updating the stimulus. We're going to be using a realistic model here, not the approximate. So it'll take a second or so to set all of the auditory filters. And with the ascending approach, we're going to start at a very low intensity. We're not sure what this person's hearing is. So we're going to be starting at minus 15 dB, and we're going to be going 5 decibel steps up and 10 decibel steps down for correct responses. Now we're going to be doing this blindly to start, and then I'll show how in training mode you can show the true values. You can also show the psychometric curves here. Once you've set your stimulus parameters to what you like, you press on the presentation button. Now you click and hold this for at least 1 to 2 seconds. So that's what's recommended in the ASHA guidelines. So that's 1 second at least. Patient didn't raise their hand, therefore that's a no response. Go up 5 dB. No response. Up 5 dB. No response. Up 5 dB. We get a response. The criteria that we've set previously were 2 out of 3 responses at that intensity. So I got a correct response. Now I just store it, and we're still going to continue testing. So I'm going to go down 10 decibels. No response, go up 5. No response, go up 5. No response, go up 5. We get a response, so I go back down 10 decibels. No response here. Go up 5. And we get a response. So that is the threshold there at 0 dB. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next frequency. I'm going to show you how we can see the actual true thresholds and do our practicing that way too. So in the next stimulus condition, the ASH guidelines is 2000 Hertz, which you can see here. So I'm going to move over to 2000 Hertz, and I'm going to turn on the psychometric curve so you can see when a hand is raised based on the sensation level and the response probability. I'm also going to show you the true thresholds. So you can click on true thresholds, and you can see for the air conduction true thresholds for the left ear, we are very, very close to that true threshold. Okay, so for 2000 Hertz, now what we do again, we need to go below, at least 10 dB below what we expect the next threshold to be at that frequency. And so I'm going to go down to -15. No response. And you can see on the psychometric curve here that 50% would be threshold. The left response circle there is well below sensation level and well below the chance line here for the patient responding. So we'll go up 5 dB. No response. Up 5 dB. No response. Up 5 dB. And then boom, we've got a response here, and you can see that that blue circle has now turned green inside because it's above the response chance level and it's right at threshold there. And so I'm going to say store. We've got 1 out of 1 for that intensity. We go down 10 decibels. No response. Up 5. No response. Up 5. And we get a response at that 0 dB. So definite store that there. And then we can continue on doing 3000 hertz, 4000 hertz. So that's how you can do basic behavioral pure tone audiometry using SimHBA in the SimHERA software. And that is for the ascending approach. We can also change the protocols. In this case, I'm going to go over to here in the protocol tab, change the starting intensity to be, say, you need to be 20 decibels above threshold. So now we're going to start from a intensity presentation to the patient's left ear that is at least 20 decibels above what we would expect their hearing threshold to be. We're going to move on to the 3000 hertz stimulus frequency, which is the next condition. I'm going to show you the descending approach. So in this case, we expect threshold to be somewhere around 0. So we should go up to about 20 or even 30 decibels. Now, some protocols might suggest you start at 40 and move down in 20 decibel steps. I'm going to show this as 10 dB down, 5 dB up procedure. It's up to your clinical protocols in which you are going to follow, but this is a descending approach. Okay, so you present stimulus at 30 decibels, you get a response, go down 10 decibels. Get a response, go down 10 decibels. Response, 10 down. Response, 10 down. No response. Go up 5. No response. Go up 5. Got a response. We'd already had a response at 0 dB before, so that's 2 out of 2, stored threshold. So that's how you can do the descending approach. So this concludes the SimHERA tutorial using SimHBA on how to perform behavioral pure tone audiometry. Have fun learning, and I'll see you next time.